You are listening to Bigfoot Club Podcast, Cryptid Sports Entertainment for life.
Hey everybody, Bigfoot Bob, Bigfoot Club. I'm here with my nephew, Sasquatch Steven. Sasquatch Steven, say what's up.
What's up?
You're not going to do the yell?
Oh, yeah. I'll do it next time.
Okay. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. We kept getting sick.
Yeah.
It was the pass along. It was the pass. I get it.
I thought I was sick, but I think deep down it was allergies for me.
Yeah. No, I think it was a combination of both because we just had a lot of phlegm and congestion and
I'd wake up in the morning and my nose was stuffed
or runny. Throat was hurting.
Yeah.
A couple days. It was a lot of that. A lot of that winter allergy gunk.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, we're all right.
Yeah.
Feeling better.
You got anything going on with you?
Not really. No.
I do want to say that this week I had our old buddy, Craig Woolheater, was posting some stuff on Facebook. And he reposted something like he had like an action figure made of him, and it had like a Hawaiian shirt. So I did mention on there that I said, "Hey, they forgot penny loafers," and he just goes LOL or something like that. And then I didn't notice it, but Matt had pointed out that on the description of his title he was the founder of the Texas Bigfoot Research Center.
Yeah.
And I had posted, because he posted on Facebook, and I responded. I go, Doge fact check, co-founder of the TBRC, and he writes back right away. Goes, I didn't put that.
All right.
And then I go, okay, cool. But I noticed that you didn't try to correct him either. Yeah. And so I went back the next day to look. He had deleted my comment, and he made the change on it where he says he's the co-founder.
Yeah.
So he says, I made the change. Did you read it? Or something like that. And I go, let me check. I said, oh, yeah, cool.
Well, good. I'm glad he was able to correct that.
I just had to call him out on that.
Yeah.
So, but, because that's what we do. Because we're cryptid sports entertainers for
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a little funny incident, though. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Another update too. I spoke to Brian, and he confirmed the calligraphy rumors. So he said that he.
What did he say about it?
I called him the other day, and I think that you were still at work. And I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey, what's going on, man? What's been going on with you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing good." And I go, "Have you listened to the episode?" He was like, "Yeah, it was really good." And then it was real quiet. He goes, "So I guess I got amazing penmanship or something?" Like, I was like, "Yes, that's the rumor." And he was like, "Okay, all right."
So he just went along.
He just went along with it.
He didn't argue it?
Yeah, he didn't argue with it. He was like, "Okay, I guess I got really good calligraphy skills." But yeah, he was just like, "Okay."
That is funny.
Yeah, he just went with it. So, but it's not a rumor though. It's
the real
it's
deal.
The real deal.
Holyfield.
Yep.
Of course. Yes.
Yep. So, Brian,
B-Town down.
You've been outed. People know now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny though. It was a funny conversation.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But yeah, anything else going on with you?
Nope.
Work still good?
Yeah, it's great. I love
Awesome.
it. I love it. I'm super happy.
Yeah.
Everybody there's great.
Yeah.
And I still have 0 emails.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Christmas parties.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And they have summer parties too. So
summer parties.
Yeah.
What like they bring the beach there?
I don't know.
Well, you're about to find out.
We'll find out. So,
Oh yeah, it's spring break here, man.
so,
Bring your sandals and your thunnies.
so, but I'm pretty excited today. We're going to be interviewing a gentleman out of Colorado. Colorado.
Jesus, I couldn't even say the word now because you said, and I was like, I was going to repeat what you just said.
Colorado. Jim Aragon, and he's got some interesting stories out of Colorado. So,
And no, it's not a stoner Bigfoot.
no.
It's not.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, enjoy.
Okay. Well, my name is Jim Aragon. I'm born and raised in Pueblo, Colorado. I've been into the outdoors my whole life, hunting, fishing, camping, biking, hiking, kayaking, photography. And, when I go hunting, wherever I go, I'm always looking at the entire ecosystem and all the different animals that live there. Looking for tracks, just sign, so on and so forth. Just looking at everything, the plants, the trees, the water, and that kind of stuff. So, and I just, like when we were hunting, I've seen tracks that one area between New Mexico and Colorado, and we've seen these tracks for 20 something years, They'd always come out of Toltec Canyon and they'd circle on top of the mountain. Sometimes there'd be one set of really big tracks. Sometimes there'd be two or three, smaller tracks, like a little kid track and stuff. And they would come out of this canyon in this place where we hunt. You walk in, 5 or 6 miles, and there's no roads. So, we'd notice these tracks that come out of Toltec Canyon, and they would circle around the top of the mountain, make a big wide circle like they're just looking over everything, and then they circle back down to the canyon. They don't come out, to any vehicles or any place like that. So we've noticed them for years. When my son was a little kid, I would always tell him about this place, and first time I took him up there, these tracks were down low, and we ran into them right away. But I've noticed, me and my buddies would notice that area for years, and not too far from that area. I remember one time we were camping. We put a camp late at night, and we got up in the morning and went hunting, and on the road, we saw these small little tracks, maybe 7 feet long. No, 7 inches long. And they're just walking on the side of the road like little human feet, I remember we seen that. But the main one that me and my son were going hunting. We're going over La Vida Pass about 5 a.m, and we saw something in the headlights. So I turned the high beams on, and we saw a Bigfoot run across the highway. And that is the first one I've seen.
Was that
and it had long hair.
Right. What year was this?
This probably was 2013.
2013. Was it do you think it was a male or female? Was it what color was the Bigfoot?
It was like a lot of grayish in it. And it was huge, and it was running over, like bent over running, like in a sprinter's run. It was a big animal. All I remember is I could see the hair that was going off of the arms, forearms and stuff. It really, really long hair.
Was this at night?
Big.
Was it at night or daytime?
It was 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
So it was still really dark. And it was in the mountain. Yeah, it was in the middle of the mountains, going down La Vida Pass.
Wow.
And it ran up the side of this like mountain. So I parked the car, got my handgun and my flashlight, and kind of looked around, and it whistled at me. Whistled at me 3 times. It's like that. And I shined the flashlight around and I whistled back and nothing happened, so I took off. But yeah, we seen it run across the road. My son's seen it too. We both stopped and was like, "Did you see that?" And that was the first one we saw.
Did you know anything about Bigfoot before that? Like anything about it?
No, I've heard and read about it, but I never really thought they existed. But
Okay.
until you see them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've always, ever since that time. I mean, anytime I go in the mountains, I don't care where I'm at, I'm always armed.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
So, yeah, that was the first time. But prior to that, like I was saying, we were way up in the mountains, Saddle Creek by Platoro Reservoir, and me and my buddy were hunting, and we come across this area that had about a dozen or so like little teepees, and I'm talking this is way way up there in the San Juan Mountains, and there's nobody around there.
You're talking about tree formations, right? Like tree, like branches and
like teepees.
right. Okay.
Yeah, straight branches, like put together like teepees.
Wow.
We just like looked at them and was like, oh, there's about a dozen of them. It was really, but there's been a lot of sightings around there, like to the road that goes up to there, the access road. There's been a lot of different sightings and so forth in that same area, way back up in there. But this area that I'm talking about, it's like there's nobody out. There's nobody there. It's heck, the Latoro was like it's just a tiny little town. 20, 25 people up there. Well, we seen that, and then but we were hunting up there around Mosca Pass, and he was suggesting on Via Pass. It's in the same on this kind of hill, and I went did like a big circle, and I dropped down, and I found this track that was in this really, really hard ground. I mean, this was like cement. I mean, I could stand on them and jump around, and it wouldn't even make a dent. Whatever. I have this one picture of a track, and it was so heavy that it like made an indentation in this ground that was like cement. I'm telling you. So this animal had to have been really, really, really heavy to do that.
What was that? What was the size? What was the size of the?
It was like a partial print, and I would say it was about 10 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches around in there. But it was a partial print. You know what I mean? It sunk down partially, so it wasn't a full print. But you could actually see the toes and the toenails. On the like probably the third, fourth, and fifth toe.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was. I even sent this photo to a biologist for the Colorado Forest Service, and he saw it. And he was just like, "Man, that's weird." Yeah, I sent it to him, and when I was doing that hunt, I did a big circle. And I saw that track, and I knew he was headed straight for my son. So got up there really quick, and my son had moved. He says, "Dad, I had this really bad feeling that someone was watching me." So I went, and he got on this like little tiny peak, like about 100 yards away where he was, where he could see everything really good. So I'm glad he did that, and I got to him and kind of looked around. We got out of there, but. This is just stuff that we notice. And then, on 2015, we had some black powder tags for the Greenhorn Mountain area. And that's hunting area 84. And so we just on a whim, we just threw some stuff in the truck. Like I said, I forgot my 40 caliber in my entryway, but we had a 30 rifle, and we took our stuff up, just threw it in the truck and drove up there. We put our tent up. We drove to Greenhorn Lake on top of Greenhorn Mountain, and we got all ready and stuff, and we were coming back from the lake, and I pulled over to load our truck with a bunch of branches and stuff. There were some old trees that somebody had cut down, and and stuff. They were just all over the place. So we started loading up our truck, for the fire. We got some wood in there, and I don't know, it's got a weird feeling. Me and my son kind of separated, and I got a weird feeling something was watching us or something. So I, yelled out to my son, and we stood together, and then we put some stuff in the truck, and then we took off, and we drove back to camp, which probably was like 4 miles, 5 miles, and we got a fire going and stuff, and then my son says, "Well, Dad, don't you hear that noise?" And you can hear something like yelling, but it was far away. And I thought, these cowboys up there, and that same day, they probably offloaded maybe 600 head of cows up there, because every year they lease that ground up there to, so they can put their cows to graze. So there's cows everywhere. But anyhow, I thought, well, maybe it was a cow mooing or whatever. And this yelling kept getting closer and closer. And at the same time, we heard like crows dive bombing something, like harassing an animal. You can hear, and they're dive bombing something. And then the coyotes were messing with the same animal. You could hear the coyotes like yapping and nipping and, making a bunch of noise. And then, and I'm just listening to this stuff, and I'm like, nah, this is nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. The whole time, nothing. It's nothing. What could it be? It's nothing, and pretty soon the crows land in the trees in our camp. And then we could hear the coyotes, kind of yipping and stuff. And then pretty soon everything just got quiet. I mean, quiet as can be. And then I can hear something off to my left walking around, kind of breathing heavy. And I'm like, just kind of noticing stuff. And then my son, we were getting ready to turn in. It was like 10:30. And we might have stood up a little bit. We were getting kind of ready to, go to sleep. And so he was putting the sleeping bags in the tent. And he tells me, "Dad, I hear something like whistling real low back and forth." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I can hear something." And then I said, "Well, you know what? Let's just sleep in our truck. We'll sleep in the truck. We'll put our seats back, and that's where we'll stay." So I went in the tent with my boy, and then right outside we hear like a growling like a lion, real deep growl. I mean, like this thing had to have the chest, a real deep chest capacity, because it was loud. I mean, it shook the tent. I've never heard something that loud so close, and it growled it, and then it went ooh, up, real high.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy crap. I was in the tent, and every hair on my body just sprang up. And then we were like, what in the hell? I thought something was getting like, a rock or a branch or something would come crashing through the tent. So anyhow, we got we got our sleeping bags and stuff and threw it in the back of the truck and ripped out of there. We went down the road a little bit, and I rolled down the window and made that same whoop, whoop, and then the coyotes answered me right away and started yipping and yapping. But then I was like, well, heck, I still have the tent there, my cooler, some of our equipment. I was like, well, damn, what are we going to do? I don't want to leave it there, So I figured they'd try to scare us. And yeah, I got, just like I said before, I worked in a prison for 29 years, all maximum security. So, yeah, I know how it is trying to be bullied. So I thought, well, we came up with a plan. I said, well, we're going to drive in there, my truck. We're going to park right by the tent and leave the doors open and the brights on. I had a 30-30 rifle, and I got out and I cussed him out and I shot into the trees. I said, get the fuck out of here. And I shot into the trees about 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stood right by my son and by the tent, and he just knelt down and pulled all the stakes to the tent and kind of caved it in. And we were halfway done, and the Bigfoots wouldn't leave. This one to my left kept walking closer and closer. And I knew if I shot with my 30-30 that it would illuminate, and I would be able to see him. But man, he was close. He was probably 20, 25 feet away. But it was just so pitch dark, you couldn't see. But you could hear him walking. So I stopped and shot into the tree about 5 feet, 10 feet from him. And I said, get out of here. And it finally turned around and it walked away. But there was 2 of them that were walking closer. And my son thinks that there was probably about 3. But anyhow, we heard them kind of walking away, and then we caved in the tent and took off. And the next day we went back there. My son found a really long hair, about 2 feet long, that was like reddish brown. And I took that hair to Colorado State University in Pueblo, and they took a sample, but they never let me know what happened. And then I even called Ron Velarde. He was a good friend, and he was the supervisor of the, Colorado Department of Wildlife in Denver, out of Denver. And I'd known him for like 40 years. And so I told him, I said, hey, I had something happen to me. And when he called me, he had about 5 or 6, 7 biologists in his office. And they kind of asked me questions. And, and first thing is like, well, why did this happen to you? I'm like, dude, I don't know why. But all I got to say is I'm just calling you to pass information on. You could believe me or not believe me, but I have, better things to do with my time than to make up stories,
Yeah.
So
I wanted to ask you a question about, because you were saying that these guys were asking you questions about why this happened to you. And I was kind of curious about, so when you were camping, you said that some cowboys were letting out some cows and stuff out. And so I'm thinking, I don't know what you're thinking, Stephen, but that this was like, you were kind of in the way of their food.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking that.
So I was thinking that they were trying to scare you out of this area because, hey, man, they let all these cows loose. Maybe they could get a calf or something and, feed their family or something. Because that's what I was kind of thinking.
They were all over, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all over. They had been letting these cows out for a few days. To let 600 cows out, man. They were all over. Them freaking cows were everywhere.
Yeah.
The thing is that they followed us. They followed us about 4.5 miles. And they must have been running or moving pretty good because it didn't take them long to get to us.
Yeah.
And we heard them the whole. It was just really weird how this happened because they followed us. And what was really weird is the crows followed them and were just fucking with them. They were dive bombing them.
Yeah.
Could
you see them?
Crows dive bombing them.
Could you see them like dive bombing them from far away, or could you just could hear it?
Moonlight, you could hear it really loud, and they were dive bombing them. They were, and then the coyotes were messing with them too. So, they were warning me. They were letting me know, man. So that's one thing I've learned now is to listen well, I was hunting bears one time, and this bear started stalking me. Mm-hmm. I followed him for about 3 or 4 miles, a big bear too. And I was in the oak brush that was like 7, 8 feet tall. and probably 20 yards from me, 25 yards from me, a coyote was messing with a bear. It was nipping at its legs and stuff, and you could hear them. They're in a big fight, or he was just the coyote was messing with the bear. That was only 25 yards from me, man. I took off from there running so fast. That bear was hunting me. And the last time I saw him was like 200 yards from me. So he was downwind from me. He was hunting me. He was coming to get me. But anyhow, yeah, that was, these animals will let you know what's going on. For some reason,
They're protecting
if
you.
they know that, yeah, it is, or they're alerting you or they're protecting you. But that's just a story that I had.
Right.
But anyhow, I don't know, I found something really weird when I was hunting this year right next to Sheep Mountain. I don't know if it's a Bigfoot poop or there's a cave around there, but I found an old ancient water hole. Yeah, I found an old ancient water hole right next to the mountain, and the sun never hits there. You have to almost stand on top of this to even see it, because it's about 30 feet down. There was poop, big bunch of poop everywhere. It's either bear or, probably bear, but man, every 5 feet there was a big pile of poop. So, man, it was
Bigfoot poop.
really weird.
Yeah, was these
be.
like super like long logs?
Yeah. And, I've been in the woods where I've seen big piles of poop, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking the circumference of this. It has to be a big animal. It has to be an animal that has large intestines. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you seen like moose poop before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen, but it's not like this. I mean, I tell you what, we were hunting one time, and I think there's either a grizzly bear den or a Bigfoot den we found. And this is way in the San Juan Mountains. And it's a freaking hike and a half. We were hunting there in November, middle of November, and we found it. And this is a huge cave. Huge cave. Big tracks in and out. It might be from a grizzly bear den. That one incident, I reported it to Ron Velarde, the head of the Department of Wildlife, so on and so forth. And then the very next year, 2016, when me and my boy were going elk hunting, we were going up to Osher Park between, it's like right on the border of Colorado and New Mexico. And we're hunting. Well, he sprained his ankle, so he was sitting kind of low in this. We're watching this meadow, but we're about, 9,500 feet up. I probably walked all the way to 10,000 and above. But he was sitting there watching this meadow, and I did a big circle behind us all the way around, climbed up this mountain, and periodically I would always use my cow call, and pretty soon I was on top of this mountain, and I hear this thing right next to me, or pretty close to me. Ooh, ooh, really loud. I was like, well, what the hell? I've never heard nothing like that. And it kept following me around the mountain. It wouldn't come out and show itself, but it was just, man, making all this noise. And I was like, well, what the hell? So I was trying to get it to follow me and come out, show itself. But whatever was there saw me that I had a rifle hang. I mean, I'm hunting. I'm not no game or nothing, and
Right.
It got kind of late, so it was between me and the trail to go back. And shoot, I ran straight downhill about 400 yards off this steep hill and just kept going. I ran all the way to the parking lot, got my bearings, and then I ran straight to where straight where I came from. And I figured, well, if this thing follow me, if I see whatever it is, it's gonna die. I'm gonna kill it.
Right.
So I ran back, and I just checking, and I ran back to the left, and I veered off, and I found the Jeep. But yeah, we parked off the road, and my son was sleeping, And I open the door, and the first thing he goes is, "Dad, why were you making that noise?" And I'm like, "What noise?" He goes, this is what he said. "Well, I was sitting there, Dad, and I kept, like, all the birds flew and the chickmunks ran out of this area. And it was really weird. I just got a weird feeling, you know." And so he stood up. He said he cocked his rifle. He got ready. And then he heard that, "Ooh, ooh." He goes, "Dad, that freaked me out, man, because it was right close to me." So he said, I just walked back real slow, watched my back, and I went back to the Jeep. And I was like, "Oh shit." I said, "Son, I heard that same damn thing."
So he
Followed
thought
me all around the mountain.
he thought it was you doing it.
Yeah, he goes, "Dad, why were you making that noise?" I'm like, "Son, I make no noise, man."
Did you, Jim?
Yeah.
Did you smell like anything at all when this was going on? Like these noises and
No.
okay.
No, because you know what? Like I say, where we were at, that wind was just blowing like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was just blowing like crazy. I'm talking, we were probably 9,500 feet up. I was probably 10,000 plus up because I climbed on this big hill, this big mountain. I was probably like 500 feet up.
Yeah,
And my son was lower.
Yeah, he was probably checking you out, probably trying to find out what you're doing and where you going. And
Well, see what he did is he heard the cow calling. Mm-hmm. See, he came to that cow call.
Right.
He was hunting. He was hunting out just like we were. And that's what I figured, because I was cow calling and he followed that cow call. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, he followed the cow call because, you know, every half hour, 20 minutes, 40 minutes go by, a little cow call. I called one cow out, but that cow was by itself. It didn't have no bulls with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's what it was doing, is it was hunting just like me, because I was cow calling, see? And that's what you heard, them cows, you know, me cow calling. He came out. Thought, well, shit, there's elk, you know.
Man,
I even called Ron Velarde on that one too, to let him know. But he has since retired. He retired about I don't know, 10 years ago.
Man, that's good that you're his friend.
Maybe
because
9 years ago.
I can tell you, like, most of the game wardens and park rangers that I've dealt with in Texas, man, they don't support Bigfoot or any kind of Bigfoot talk at all. I can just tell you that.
Wow.
But, you know, hey,
Well,
that's that's a good thing that, he's your friend.
It makes me wonder, that type of call that creature was doing was probably letting others that you two were armed too.
Yeah. I was thinking that too.
Because it's just it was aware that you guys were armed, and it was like, it did that little, I don't know if that's like the official call saying like there's trouble ahead or something, but yeah, that's what I
Jim,
I would think.
The other question I have, Jim, is how far was this incident from the other incidents that you've had with other Bigfoots?
Oh, that, from Levita Pass, it's far away.
Okay.
I'm talking, this is why it's so weird. Levita Pass and, San Isabel kind of mountain, or the Greenhorn Mountains, isn't too far away. When you by how the crows fly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
it's not too far away.
Because I'm almost thinking that maybe this was like either the same group, or they kind of know you, or they were following you. I've had stories. I've interviewed people where, they've almost come across the same Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Because they had same characteristics. And go ahead.
Well, like even like the Mosca Pass, where I saw that footprint, that was, that's in the same general area, but I think there's a different bunch of groups.
Yeah.
And then another one story that I have is, walked up to Lily Lake. We hiked up to Lily Lake, and this is after we seen the Bigfoot, you know. And my son, he was all infatuated with Googling Bigfoot and all this. So he Googles Bigfoot, and he goes, Dad, check this out, because we were going to go hike up Lily Lake. And he goes, Dad, check this out. And he Googled his story. There's 2 outdoor biologists, and they work at the college level. And they were hiking up to Lily Lake, and they got up to the top and put their tents and stuff. And one of them started yelling just for the heck of it, just messing around.
Mm-hmm.
And then something started answering them, yelling in the same way and getting closer. So it scared the heck out of them. And because it started getting closer, it sounded like it was really, really mad or aggressive. So anyway, both of these guys just packed up their tents and all their equipment, and they hiked all night, and they hiked out of to the other side. So they got out of there. Yeah. So anyway, my son and me, I checked it out and whatever. I said, so we walked up there, we hiked up there to Lily Lake, and there's all kinds of like sightings. And one guy wrote a book, and he said that he's seen a UFO come out of the lake, little tiny lake up there, and just really strange stuff. And so we walked about a third of the way down the mountains, and me and my son started fucking around, and we started pushing boulders off the mountain, and they would roll down and boom, make all kinds of noise and stuff. And we just check it out. And then across the canyon, we hear yowling loud, and this thing's pissed off, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's yelling. Yeah, it's yelling and screaming. And we're like, oh shit. So we noticed it, and we hiked out of there. Then we went back like a year later, and it did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yelling and screaming, and yeah, but this is a Lily Lake, and a lot of people have reported it's right behind Mount Blanca. And a lot of people have reported just some real strange stuff over there,
Mm-hmm. Jim, I wanted to ask you, but if do you use like those cam trackers or those game cams at all?
I have them. I have a bunch of them. But shoot, when you go way up there, that's like freaking middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
You have to leave them, What I want to do is get some that you could check with your phone,
Yeah.
Go up there and see if somebody's willing if someone's willing to give me some, I could take them to some areas way up there, because I know where that thing was yelling from.
Yeah.
I could go up there,
well,
maybe leave some food around and leave one.
Well, I was just going to tell you, because like it's been my experience, because I've been doing Bigfoot research since like the late 90s, and it's been our experience like in Texas. I don't know how it is in Colorado, but we use those as the deterrent, because our theory was whenever I was with the TBRC is that these things were avoiding them. They were noticing it, and they would avoid them. And so if we wanted to channel them into like a one area to try to see one or photograph one, we would put these up to make them, avert away from there and go to like this other, like an opening or something. So that would be my advice to you. If you were to use them, you would use them as like a channel, or, to get them away from this one area to go to another area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think they're always like around me, because I think they're female Sasquatches. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they watch me take a piss and they see my big old wiener.
Oh yes, Jim, I love you.
They're infatuated, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what I said when all them biologists was in the office.
Yeah.
They said, "Well, why do you think they're always like? How come you see them?" I said, "Because you know what? I think they saw me pee, and they saw my big pecker, and they're females, and they all fucking busted out."
You know what? You know what, Jim? If you listen to our podcast, we're always talking about Bigfoot penis.
Yep.
We're always talking about because I actually have a couple stories of Bigfoot penises that people actually brought me like a story and say, "Hey, yeah, I saw Johnson." I go,
Yeah.
"Okay."
I was like, how do you know it was a male? I go, I knew. And they're like, okay. They're like, yeah. That's
You know what's so funny? This is so fucking weird, man. Okay, my son and me, we hunt elk south of Pueblo, Colorado, off Burt Mill Road, private land.
Mm-hmm.
And if you Google Dogman of Pueblo, Colorado, and there's sightings. There's this one. There's this one people that live right there off of right. Sheesh, maybe 3 miles from where we hunt. Right, this ranch, and they have saw this what do you call it? Dogman. And this guy was like, I read this thing. I was Googling one day and it said, "Oh, Dogman this," and then it said Colorado. So I hit on it and it said Pueblo, Colorado. And I'm like, "Oh shit, I hunt right by there." And this guy says that, he had these dogs, guard dogs, and sometimes they would come back, he would find them dead. And sometimes they would come back and they had like these big wounds on them and stuff. So he put out a trail cam and he has pictures of this freaking like Dogman thing, like a wolf walking on 2 legs.
Wow. We don't get
That's
a lot
weird,
of,
man.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of Dogman stories, but I would love to get Dogman stories because I'm a big believer in it, and I think without being too woo about it, but I think a lot of it is spiritual as well, because I think people see these creatures, and I think it's like a Native American land, and these creatures just appear.
Yeah.
So, because I think in the very beginning I thought it was like a misidentification of Bigfoot, but
Bigfoot,
really,
yeah.
You know what was weird though is the people that the land this, I think their last name is Ortiz. Ortiz, and they have one, and it's weird looking. But a few years before that, when my son was pretty young, we were hunting on this land right across from it, and he went to go poop, and something was walking on 2 feet, walked right right by him in the forest, and it was so thick he couldn't see. But he's like, Dad, what is that? So I was right kind of by him, and I ran up, and he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't see nothing." But yeah, he said something walked through them trees right by me, and that scared the crap out of him, literally.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, Jim, also is that for some reason you're like a huge antenna for these creatures. It's because
I've always been like that.
Because I'm a big believer in frequencies, and some people give off different frequencies than other people. Because some people say, "Hey, how come I so and so sees a Bigfoot, but I don't see a Bigfoot?" And I just think these Bigfoots or creatures are attracted to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's weird though is I've had wild animals, foxes come right up to me, just weird, weird. It's always been like that though. Animals and stuff, and birds. We used to have this damn big old hawk live in our tree every year and have babies. Damn hawk.
Yeah,
It's strange, but I kind of noticed that too.
The very first story that you told us about these Bigfoots and they're being attacked by crows. And then that kind of made me think. I said, "Man, either Jim's got some kind of power, or he's got a spiritual guide that's protecting him with these crows that are attacking his Bigfoot." So that's kind of interesting a little bit, Jim.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but you know what's weird? Okay, Lake Pueblo State Park is gigantic. And I went in there one day and I was telling these you know, the wildlife officers all these, the stories and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling them all this, and they, for some reason, man, they just got real quiet and they shut off the roads back there. You can't even go. They shut off the road probably 5 miles.
Mm.
It was really weird. So I don't know if they're like, they know stuff is back there and they're trying to limit the area where people can go just out of trying to be safe, or something.
Yeah, that's why I was telling you, like,
But,
that's why I was telling you earlier, like in Texas, whenever I ran into like game wardens or park rangers, they would hover. Like if I told them I was doing Bigfoot stuff, they would stay with me like until I left. They wouldn't leave. And so I'm a big believer that a lot of these game wardens and park rangers, they know that there's a Bigfoot there, but if this animal is discovered, then it has to have protection. If it has protection, then you have to like find out where it's, how far it can go. And then you have to protect the area. And if you protect the area, then you can't have growth. You can't have logging. You can't have any of that stuff. So I think, deep
I'll tell
down.
you what,
Go ahead.
that same area in 2023, I seen a UFO that fucking was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. It was the strangest thing. If I tell you what I saw,
Tell us.
you'd think I was a lunatic.
No, tell us. We want to hear it.
Oh my God. Well, we were fishing. My son come back from the Marines. He's with one of his buddies, and we're fishing. We're facing south. And I get up to go take a piss, so I'm facing west. And we're in this one cove, right? And the cove's, it's got hills around it and stuff, and then the Wetmore Mountains are behind it. But, okay, now I'm looking, taking a leak, and I look, and I see like 3 bottle rockets, you know what I'm saying? That go far away, and I could see 3 like bottle rockets, right? That go, and the center one makes like a long, well, it just stays like a hot rod, like a hot piece of steel, you know what I mean? It goes across and it just stays like floating in the air, like a hot piece of steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just starts expanding, starts getting huge. And I'm like looking and I'm seeing this stuff and I can't even say anything. I'm just like, what in the hell, And this thing just got huge. It grows. And it gets like a big ass cigar. And inside, I could see like these shadow people dancing around, like jumping around, dancing around. And I'm like, what? And I'm telling this story and I'm getting goosebumps.
Wow.
So something's dancing around, or these people or beings or something. And then it gets so big and then it explodes, but there's no sound. But this thing just explodes. And then a bunch of white lights get in the line and then they take off over my shoulder from the west to the south. And then I tell my son, I said, look. And he records it, but all he sees is them taking off,
Yeah.
But what I saw probably happened, everything happened in probably about, I would say, 9 seconds.
How far off the
It was
ground was
so
it?
fucking,
How far off the ground do you think it was?
pardon?
How far off the ground do you think it was?
It was probably, I would say maybe 100 feet.
Okay.
It was probably 100 feet because it wasn't even over the horizon of the Wetmore Mountains. It was down low, but it was just weird. I mean, it was like 3 big bottle rockets. The one to the left and to the right fizzed out, and this one just went, and it kept growing like a hot piece of molten steel, and then it grew like a huge
Cigar?
cigar. Yeah. And then it exploded. It was just, man, it was just, I mean, I was just like, I didn't know what the hell, man. And it was just so weird is I was probably the only person that seen it like I did. You know what I'm saying? I know some people called in and said, oh, they seen this and that, but this thing was in a cove, kind of low, you know, like not to be seen.
Was this incident like after all the Bigfoot stuff or before?
After this happened in 23.
Wow.
And then, you know, it was so weird. I got stuff where I was back there behind the reservoir, and in the sky, there was a circle that looked like a rainbow in broad daylight, just in the sky. And I have it on my phone. So I recorded it and stuff, and I checked it out. I've never seen nothing like that. One of my friends, he was the weather caster for the, you know, one of the
local TV
weather stations and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I sent it to him, and I said, "What is that?" He goes, "Shit, I don't know what the hell that is, man." And this is broad daylight. And when I took a video of it and I went home and looked at it, you could see this light blue dot just dancing all around the screen.
If you have it, we would love to see it. So whenever we get off, if you could send that, whatever you have, pictures, we want to see.
Okay, all right. Let me let me go back, because it was the first time that I had ever been to this one like little area.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go back and I'll see if I can find it, and I will send it to you. Okay.
All right. That sounds.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, because Stephen and I, we've interviewed like a lot of people, and we've always noticed that they've not only do they have Bigfoot stuff, they have UFO stuff. And then not only do they have that, they have paranormal stuff as well.
Yeah.
So tell me you've had a paranormal thing too.
No, not really. I mean, I don't know. Shit, I worked in a prison. Hell,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Seen some weird shit. You know, in my house, there's shit. I don't know. There's something in my house. Stuff will fall over. You know.
Yeah.
Walk by or sitting down. Stuff will fall. You know, stuff, just weird shit like that.
Sounds paranormal.
I mean, because I, you know, all these stories that you're telling us, I really think that you have like a attraction to
Frequency.
like frequencies and
Like an antenna. You're an antenna for all things paranormal, spiritual, all that stuff.
mystical.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one?
Even with just animals.
Yeah, animals.
And freaky bitches. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, no, like in all seriousness, animals.
Jim, I like you already. Oh my God, this is awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird. I mean, I've seen, and you know what? The only person that really understands is my son, because he used to not, and then he kind of realizes that all kind of weird stuff happens to me. Dude, this is so strange. Like 3 years ago, I was hunting, right, all by myself. I'm coming back from the Gardner area. I'm going down the highway, and I get this overwhelming feeling that, man, Jesus wants me to turn off this road for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
He wants me to turn off this road. So I turn off this. I've never, ever had a feeling like that. So I turn off the road, and I asked Jesus, I said, Jesus, please let me know why you had me turn off this road. I just want to know. So I turned off this road, and I turned around. I drive across the road to where I turned off, and I just kind of went down the road, and I'm just driving, looking around, and I see this buck. He runs through this meadow, and he jumps a fence, and man, he's been running far. His tongue's hanging out, and he's just tired, and I check him out and stuff, and so I get back on the highway, and I go down the road, And everybody stopped, and this guy comes up, and I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Oh shoot, them two people up there, they went out head on, and they hit. Everybody's dead in both vehicles." So the people that were right behind me on the highway,
Yeah.
Mhm.
they ended up going head on with the oncoming traffic. Both vehicles, everybody was dead.
Synchronicity.
So, wow.
Yeah. That's
I'm telling you, everybody was dead. And the people that crashed were right behind me on the highway.
So
I was like, wow.
So you went off the instinct, to go off the side of the road, and you did, and man, that's crazy.
that is crazy. that's a little. It sucks for the other people.
I just have this. Yeah, I just had this overwhelming feeling, and he wanted me to pull over.
I'm glad.
And sure enough, man.
I'm glad you.
But
you
know what happened?
What?
But you know what happened?
What's up?
Is that fucking buck? That buck jumped across the road.
Uh-huh.
The guy swerved, hit into the other vehicle, and then the buck jumped the fence and ran all the way across the meadow. And that's the buck that I seen, and that's what happened.
So the buck caused it.
So yeah,
caused the wreck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Okay. A lot of people, instead of hitting a deer, they'll miss the deer and hit a vehicle and kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, you have powers. I don't know if you knew that, but you have some kind of power.
You omit something.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I
don't know, man, but I tell you what, all these people that say they seen them, this shit. I tell you what, man, I could take you up in the woods, but I tell you what, anytime I go to the woods, man, I take a 40 caliber with 3 magazines. If I'm camping, I'm taking a big hunting rifle and handguns and stuff.
I don't know.
Shit in the woods that people.
Yeah, I totally believe it. But
have you ever noticed? Have you ever noticed that a lot of the people that go missing are very, very experienced mountaineers, people that have hiked, people that are guides, people that have been in the mountains, their whole lives, and they disappear.
Yep.
They're not disappearing. Something's taking them. Something's snatching them up. Because as soon as I heard that noise, I'm like, man, these people are disappearing because these guys are snatching them up.
Have you ever heard
That's what's happening.
Have you ever heard of David Pilatus, the 411?
No.
He does a documentary called 411
missing tapes or something like that.
Yeah, and so he's a Bigfoot believer, but he does these documentaries about people that go missing in national parks, and some of them are like experienced people, and some of them are not. Some of them people just disappear and they're like gone without a trace. And I think the second documentary he did had a lot of Bigfoot undertones in it, like the people who went missing either heard something like a Bigfoot or smelled something like a Bigfoot or some kind of Bigfoot characteristic. And I'm a total believer that that these Bigfoots sometimes because Bigfoots are just like people. There's some that are assholes, and they'll just take somebody. And I totally believe it. And so, but yeah, I totally agree with you about that. How people just can go missing in their experience.
But is it because they're not caring?
Maybe, or maybe they're by themselves.
A lot of these, See, a lot of these people don't carry weapons. They think that, they could just go in the woods and everything's going to be fine. Well, it might work 99 times, but that one time, that's all that matters. You have to be ready to protect yourself, man. And man, when I go to the woods now, I'm very careful, man. I watch really, really close, but it was really so cool that I found this old ancient water hole right next to this mountain. and I'm going to go in there with a gold metal detector. I'm going to go in there and just look all around. You just never know. Something might be buried there. Something might, who knows? But I think I'm going to go pretty quick because I want it to have a lot of snow. So if I can see any tracks or anything like that, I want to take a buddy in there and just look.
Man, Jim, we would love
we
would love to have you back on, and if you have any more stories, because I really enjoyed talking to you tonight. So it was one of the most interesting stories that we've come across in a while. So I mean,
it's been a lot of I've spent a lot of times in the woods, and man, I tell you what, I could remember exactly like where I found a track or where we found this, and this is all the way across the state. So I could remember that stuff and pack it away. I know exactly where that areas are. But hey, it's been good talking to you, man. You guys have a good night.
Alrighty. I appreciate it, Jim. And I'm going to try to put this out probably either tonight or early tomorrow morning, and I'll send you the link before I send it out. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, buddy.
Okay.
See you. Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
If you are listening to us for the first time, thank you. If you are a regular listener, double thank you. Please subscribe, comment, like, follow, and give us a 5-star review. It really helps us provide quality content for you. If you have any stories you would like to share or concerns, please email us at bigfootclub1@gmail.com.